Mic check, mic check. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
here today. Is this on? Got it? All right. Thank you. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 2025 President's Distinguished Professors Lecture. And this year we have the amazing ability to honor a wonderful colleague, Dr. David Blekhman. But I'm not introducing him. I'm going to introduce President Eanes, who is our 9th president and was just invested in fall 2025. And in keeping with the spirit of this award, her investiture raised over $200,000 to support faculty research and student scholarships. And so if you can, please just give me a round of applause as I welcome President Eanes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chair. I appreciate it. The President's Distinguished Professor Award honors faculty who demonstrate exceptional teaching, commitment to students, professional and scholarly impact. And I cannot tell you anything else but that about our wonderful professor today. Dr. David Blekhman is a wonderful example of all of that. He joined Cal State LA in 2007. He is a professor in the College of Engineering, Computer Science, and Technology. He is founding technical director of the Hydrogen Research and Fueling Facility. Notes of recognition. Our wonderful professor was previous recipient of the Cal State LA's Outstanding Professor Award in 2022, recognizing the impact of his teaching, research, and service. I want to also share that this professor always, when I see him, has a smile, has a question about what can I do? What do you want to be done? And thank you. I'm so happy to be doing what I'm doing. I want to also emphasize that the insights shaped the very real and urgent challenge, and the scholarship that this particular scholar has been working on is emphasizing the rapid climate change and the increasing strain on the Earth's resources, demand on humane and forward-looking solutions. His talk will incite and highlight Cal State LA's leadership in hydrogen and sustainable energy innovation, industry and international partnerships, and workforce development. I look forward to hearing about his personal reflections and light storytelling. Please join me in welcoming Dr. David Blekhman.
Thank you, President Evans, for such a wonderful speech and welcoming me to the stage. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Please have a seat. Some of the students are trickling in, usual way, a little bit late. All right. So let's get started. And please raise hands if you're out of state of California. All right, we have a special guest today. Thank you for coming. And please raise hands those of you who had to drive more than an hour today. All right. All right, so thank you for coming. It's wonderful to have you here. So let's get started. And the title of our talk, they usually say don't say the title, but it's really important. If you build it, they will come. And, oh, making noise. We all so sensitive. Yeah. All right. So if you build it, they will come, but in the movie, it's he will come, right? So the movie is Field of Dreams. It's very important in my becoming a PhD student because of my advisor, Dr. Mollendorf. Joseph Mullendorf, University at Buffalo, he would always say it, all right? And we had a Xerox, and his PIN code for the Xerox was 90210. So 30 years ago, it was written already that I will be in California. All right, so. You know, nowadays everyone is sensitive about Nobel Prize, right? So I'm going to be going with that theme a little bit in my presentation. So University at Buffalo, 3 Nobel Prize winners. So, and then my bachelor's and master's degree was from St. Petersburg Polytechnic University in the Faculty of Physics and Mechanics. And I just happened to be there in October of 2019, and there was a celebration of 100 years of the faculty. And here on the stage, you can see my former physics professor, you know, just performing and singing. So it was just very special that the faculty were still there after, you know, 20-some years after my graduation. And then after the celebration, I was walking through the campus, and one of the buildings had a picture of a Nobel Prize winner, graduate of Polytechnic University. So we're just going to continue this theme. Yes. Yeah. How about now? Okay, better. Okay, sorry. Yeah. And he was a famous physicist, but actually his son was even more famous because for 30 years he had a science show on TV, and that's how we learned about science, not only in Russia but around the world. So I really loved watching it. So, all right, and let's go a little bit more to high school. That was a very important time. But I also have a picture of me going to my first grade, my first day of school, right there. It's a September 1st. Of 1977, so I'm going to school. I like that little cute boy. Anyway, but then high school was very important. So it's a 9th and 10th grade. And so this is my class. And I'm right there. And that's, again, approximately same time frame. That's from my graduation album. But my teacher was a math teacher, and he was 68 years old. Very strict, and basically he passed away 10 years later, 78, still teaching. So very amazing. He was so hard on us, so hard on us. That's how the school looked in 1912 when it started, and it became a specialized in math and physics sometime late 60s. And so that's how it looks now. And it had a famous mathematician, Grigory Perelman, and he was awarded Fields Medal for his proof of Poincare conjecture. He did it at Berkeley, and then he offered jobs in Princeton and Stanford. So obviously, and then he went back to Russia. So he was a little bit eccentric guy. But the point is, so he didn't stay to teach in California, either Berkeley or Stanford. So I have to do it now, right? So I have to take, yeah. All right. And special thanks to my family. And so it's kind of two elements here. So this is my mom, and I was just about born. And then a little bit older, my dad, my mom, and my older sister, who is a doctor now, myself. But you can see I was always somewhat attached to wheels from the early childhood. And you guys, can you recognize that black and white picture and the wheel, and what's the setup? Where I got that to play? That's a sewing machine. My mom's, it's made in Germany, Veritas, and what is interesting, when you steer the wheel, you also with that pedal, so I'm sitting on the pedal, I was just, steering very hard. So the vehicle theme is also going to be in this presentation. And of course, special thanks to my family and my wife. When we moved to California, there were just 3 of us. And last year picture, this is already 5 of us. This way. It's backwards. And it's 5 of us, right? So, they have to put up with the long hours of me working and not being available. So, and when I travel, everything falls on the shoulders of my mother, my wife, mother of our children, right? And the oldest son, so Isaac, he just graduated Cal Poly Pomona, and he started working in Forza Silicon in Pasadena. So it's kind of good success story in California. And so now I want to kind of dispense with the awards. And of course, today we are here because of this award, Distinguished
Professor Award. In order to be eligible for this award, faculty must have already received the Outstanding Professor Award in the past and distinguished themselves further since that time. This year, the President's Distinguished Professor is David Blekhman from the Department of Technology.
And of course, I slow walked it. You know, I enjoyed it every moment of it, and I'm enjoying the moment now. And I would like to congratulate President Evans for investiture. So welcome to our campus. And hopefully we have a lot of exciting things accomplished jointly, everyone. All right, and so this picture was taken during Wang Family Award. So that happened in 2023 for outstanding scholarship. And on the picture, we have very important people that they will be repeating throughout the presentation. So we have Blake, Dean Water Perez, my chair, Rupa Parasinghim, myself, my wife. Virgil Simon is very important, and he's here among the guests. Michael Dre, and Mike Caccioli. He is a very important figure in all of these things as well. A great supporter of Cal State LA, mayor of South Pasadena, former, but also advisory board member on Air Quality Management District. And so I'm going to play a little bit from the awards ceremony. And I could have repeated what I said there because it's a thank you to the community that supported me throughout all these years. And so since we're just going to listen to what I'm saying there. And it's very special when more than 20 presidents stand up and applaud for your work. So this is, okay, let's watch it.
This year, 6 committee members painstakingly selected award recipients from a long list of outstanding nominees across the CSU, and our opportunity to honor these incredible members of the CSU family. Our next awardee is Dr. David Blekhman from Cal State LA, who was selected in the category of Outstanding Faculty Scholarship.
Give me a nickname, Professor. So I didn't expect to become one, but here I am. An engineering professor engaged in what this profession entails, working with students, doing research, collaborating with faculty colleagues, and transforming our neighboring communities to Cal State LA. So, and it's a fantastic experience for which I'm really grateful. And here is a little more statement I prepared. This award also recognizes the whole campus and those who generously donated their time, expertise, and good thoughts to help me as I pursued my academic and professional endeavors. Thank you. And here's my guests. Thank you, because they're dear and very important in this achievement. I am honored to work at Cal State LA, where I can collaborate with dedicated and fantastic students and colleagues. I look forward to working with these individuals as we dream new dreams and climb higher mountains. Thank you.
President's Distinguished Professor Award.
Okay.
In order to be eligible for
Oh, we're going on another. All right. Okay, here we go. So, and the next, prior to that, there was very important step, and so we are getting to the Nobel Prize now. And so it was a Fulbright Distinguished Chair in Alternative Energy Technology at Chalmers University in Sweden. And so my project was to evaluate hydrogen network in Scandinavia at the time. That project was picked out of 12 projects submitted, so I became a Fulbrighter there, really nice environment where they were interested in hydrogen and they needed someone like me to kind of catalyze and stir things around. And so when I left, Swedish government warmed up finally to hydrogen technology. There was a funding, and so now they're doing quite a bit of hydrogen work at Chalmers and in the region. Very important aspect was that if you are in Sweden, you actually can go to a Nobel Prize ceremony. And as you can see, I'm dressed up there and attending the ceremony. My seats were against the back, against the wall. So we were like, but the night before I had the opportunity to meet with US Fulbrighter, Dr. John Goodenough from University of Texas. And one of his researchers is a part-time instructor here, Charles Hayes. So we even have a connection to Cal State LA. So it was a wonderful experience. And also you can see Joel is a PhD student, and so we collaborated a couple of years ago. He came over for a while, stayed here, and then we were able to get him Fulbright at UC Davis. So he's right now at UC Davis. They have a conference today and tomorrow as well. All right. And another experience in Sweden, and so the Chalmers University is in Gothenburg. Everyone told me, oh, there is this hydrogen house. There is this hydrogen house. You got to see it. And I went to see this absolute marvel of renewable energy technology. You can see solar modules on the roof, on the walls, thermal modules, so it's absorbing light energy to make hot water in the house. And then there was a hydrogen storage and hydrogen and fuel cells and everything. So Hans-Olof Nielsen right there on the picture, he's a wonderful entrepreneur, engineer, built his house. And so I was so amazed, and I said, I'm going to teach that house in my classes, but just taking pictures is not enough. So I raised $10,000, and we filmed it. But 2020, it was a COVID year, so it was filmed 2 days before I left, and so we did the editing online afterwards. But the film crew there was absolutely spectacular, and there is a video on YouTube. This is a trailer, and there is a 15-minute documentary about this house. And so when I teach sustainable energy, that's what they have to watch to learn about the project.
Out of the fuel cell, we have electricity and the byproduct thermal heat at 65 degrees C.
Around the world, scientists and engineers are developing a number of solutions. The main approach, of course, is to introduce the solar and wind power, which we will also need to store beyond immediate consumption or even seasonally. So, here come batteries and hydrogen.
Welcome to the west coast of Sweden. You're currently in an off-grid house What used to be one man and his family's dream of being off-grid has developed into being the living lab for Nielsen Energy.
Let's learn more how these pieces of technology work together and with the house.
There are different types of electrolyzers. The most common is alkaline and PEM. And what you see here is a PEM version, and the capacity on this one is 1 normal cubic meter per hour.
So it's on YouTube, and it's hosted by Seekan Center on their YouTube channel. All right. All right. And the other kind of a collaboration partnership I had with Volvo. And Volvo Trucks has a technology center right on Chalmers campus. They invited me to give them a couple of lectures, one on fuel cells and then hydrogen infrastructure. And I didn't know, but they were already working on the stuff, so they didn't tell me. And then I had the opportunity to go and visit in 2023. Where am I? Oh, that truck. Actually, I'm sitting and driving there. I had a pin, and I can kind of see the pin there. So it's my picture. I'm driving that truck. It's electric. And then the blue truck is hydrogen truck. So they were developing fuel cell trucks as well. And there's their hydrogen station. So I was driven in that one. But they're actually, I'm following their progress. And they just recently had new hydrogen stations in Sweden and the refuel trucks there. So it's a very interesting experience watching and how hydrogen is developed in other countries. And that's one is kind of the one I really enjoy kind of observing. Because Gothenburg is like, Stockholm is a capital. It has all the good things, but Gothenburg is the industrial capital of Sweden, many companies there. So it was a very interesting experience being there. Now, I'd like to kind of introduce the curriculum we developed here over the years. So when I joined in 2007, there was an initial kind of setup, and then I had opportunity. And that's what's fantastic about the technology department and the department chair at the time, and everyone, that they were supporting developing this new program. And so now it became Sustainable Energy and Transportation Program, and it's part of an engineering technology curriculum. And you can see the title is Lecture Living Lab, because it happened that the campus became a living lab for the courses that I teach. Right, so the vehicles, the hydrogen station, the photovoltaic installation, and there is a history before me on solar cars, right? And so the courses are electric and hybrid vehicles, renewable energy, photovoltaics, so solar energy, fuel cells, that's the hydrogen technologies. And so there was a movie, Naked Gun 2.5 actually. And it was filmed in 1988, way before, right? And so here is a snippet, and it's very special because oil and gas and nuclear industry is against the other technologies. And so you see how it was played and kind of the perspective to what's happening now, predicted more than 30 years ago. Okay.
Told you the bombing would work. We had no choice. Take a look at this headline.
President to give Meinheimer blank check in press subject.
That speech is in 2 days. How did the guy know that?
Gentlemen! I know you're all worried, and I agree. There's plenty to be worried about, like this solar power plant. Already operational outside Los Angeles. Photovoltaic cells. They convert sunlight directly into electricity. Fluorescence lasts 10 times as long as a conventional light bulb. Uses only a quarter of the power. Super windows. Insulate as well as 10 sheets of glass. An electric car. Partially powered by solar panels. Dr. Meinheimer will deliver his speech.
It is my view that for now we must rely on coal, oil, and nuclear energy.
Our Dr. Meinheimer. Oh, my God. Gentlemen, meet Earl Hacker, former arts consultant to Jesse Helms.
And as I explained to Mr. Asper, my fee is $1 million. And, might I add, I'm worth every penny of it. But you gentlemen don't have any choice.
Do you?
It's Los Angeles, yes. And so, and that's an introductory, it goes into the introductory lecture to sustainable energy curriculum. All right, and so again about Nobel Prize, yeah, it's a little bit obsession. So you probably know there is the opposite one. It's an Ig Nobel Prize, and it's awarded for, you know, kind of stupid, trivial achievements in science. And you know how we professors like to claim that we've discovered something for the first time, nobody else done it, all right? So this is my claim. Nobody else ever before my work built Lego Mindstorm running on fuel cells, running on hydrogen, right? And so, so watch that little video with the students, and one of them, just listen for that, it's a little bit low, says, we have a liftoff. So this is I really cherish this video for just for that phrase, okay. And so we have a first robot running on hydrogen. And it's Lego Mindstorm. Thousands of schools and kids played with this. And so the first one on hydrogen. Taking credit on this one. All right. You know, that was a little too small car, right? So we decided to build a little bit bigger one. So that's a next attempt at a bigger vehicle. And there is a picture of Blake Corris. He's our former student, but now he's technical staff in the College of Engineering. A wonderful guy, he's right there. Thank you, Blake, for coming. And I'm featuring you everywhere because he helped a lot with projects. And so here we went to Shellico competition, but I'm going to show you a different video. Because later on, we had the Discovery Channel come in, and Ridley Scott is a producer. They had a Prophets of Science Fiction series, and so they were filming a part on Jules Verne's predictions. One of them was Mysterious Island with the hydrogen technology being discussed there. And so here is our little hydrogen racer. Being filmed by Discovery Channel. So I promised you Hollywood things, right? So here they keep coming. Yeah. Here we go. And so she was running. All right, and so that was a bigger car, but I wanted bigger cars, right? So this is a little, like a full-size car, right? And then we'll transition even bigger cars, right? So, so this is a EcoCar 2 competition. The other is 2011, 2014. And this is a world-class competition where we compete with the best schools in the United States and Canada. And you can see our dean, Allen. So she was very supportive. She was just fresh. And so here we are at competition running this car. It took 3 years to build the car. And I really cherish this picture with the legs of our students sticking out. We are at General Motors going through the vehicle inspection. They told us, fix this, fix that. So we were and we couldn't take pictures, so I asked one of the GM employees to take that picture for me. All right, so that's a very special. Not staged. It's real shot. So working with dedicated students is very important. We got a few awards. That's second place overall 2013, competing against best schools. Very great accomplishment for Cal State LA. And then we got LA County, but don't read the name. But but we received that good recognition, very wonderful recognition for sustainability recognition from the LA County. But I would like to highlight Dean Mu Young right there, standing to the car. So this is the dean when I was hired for probably 5-6 years. And he was so influential in our hydrogen station on campus, and he was very influential in putting us into the EcoCar competition series. And I tell you what happened. He came and just dropped paperwork on my desk and says, see if you can get us in, right? And I started reading, and then I realized that it's something I was dreaming about when I was a graduate student at Buffalo. And basically, when you flip engineering magazine, sometimes you will see pictures from this competition. And I was telling myself, I don't think I'm going to be working for the institution that would be so highly recognized to be able to run a competition like that. And so maybe 10 years later, I was here, and Dean Mu Young had that mindset that we could get it in. We got in, obviously. And so we had this competition, and so I never expected that we would elevate Cal State LA to this really high level to be in this competition, and I'm going to be the lead advisor for this competition. So that was amazing. And we really have the culture of our deans, from our deans in the College of Engineering, getting us involved in all fun things for engineering professors. And so I would like to highlight Dean Ray Landis, right there, second one on the right. And Steven Felzegi is a professor who helped us a lot in EcoCar 2 and EcoCar 3, and he's here. Thank you, Steven. So he was early on back then on those vehicles from 1990s, I guess, almost 10 years you were running. And so that's the leadership of Dean Landis, and he got a Wang Family Award for administrative work. So, and we have our Dean here, so she will appear on pictures as well. So, so the next car competition, you know, this is a kind of a pedestrian car. It was a Chevy Malibu, and now we progressed to even better car. And this is Chevrolet Camaro, and you can see that it's a police car now. And the police car theme came from Mike Caciotti, I mentioned, and I'll show him again, from a QMD. He wanted to convert police departments to electric cars or hybrid cars, and it turned out hybrid cars have wonderful features to be police cars. And so we were taking picture here. And Dr. Shaverdi, you can see him right there. Now he leads automotive series. So I'm going to mention it later. So, but it's kind of a generation transfer of, oh, backspace, sorry. So I'm going to show a little video. Here's the car running. And you can see every time you're in this competition, and when we get together, this is just, how to say, over the board, you know, like it's great, you know. And so here we are another year or year before in Michigan, all the teams together. So when you bring in 15 vehicles, 15 teams together, this is just, it gets ginormous, and you feel like being part of something very special as a faculty and students. And now there are 20 students working at General Motors in Michigan, and I tell you what, they all bought houses in the first year. So quite an accomplishment for those students. Cal State LA is, I guess, I can recognize leaning on the car right there. That's my elbow, right? So I can recognize. All right. And so we got some awards, and I would like to thank our colleagues and friends at South Coast Air Quality Management District, and 2 of them are here today. Thank you for coming. In 2018, we were recognized with a Clean Air Award for public education about energy efficient vehicles. So that's outreach is something that we do really well. And I just brought, if you invite me, I can give you an eco-car, just 1-hour lecture with all these pictures, how we fixed the car and took it apart and then assembled it all back, and all of the technology that goes into never rebuild cars. I mean, you get a gasoline car, okay, keep it gasoline. But now you put in two power plants together, electric, and then we converted gasoline engine to run on methanol, renewable fuel, and then now you got to make them work together. It's quite a challenge. So I'm so glad our engineers were able to make the car run. And so, but outreach, because of the law enforcement theme. So we did quite a bit of outreach to law enforcement. You can see I'm giving a quiz on hybrid vehicles. I gave them lecture at one of the events and then gave them a quiz, what they learned. Then here where we are with one of the top commanders in LA County, and I asked him how he liked our car, and he said that's a great car because his officers are young and they like cool cars too. And then the one on the bottom, I'm wearing a police helmet. It's right here by the engineering, by the baseball field. So the sheriff stopped our car and said, oh, what is this car? And so we had a real nice discussion. Our students were talking to him. And then he enlightened me, well, you know, the cars need to be easy ingress, egress, and put on me helmet, the belt, and said, try to get in and out. We have a coupe, so it's kind of easy, but a good learning experience. So when you talk to your customers, and part of that eco-car was you have to imagine your customer, and then you have to have your marketing message to the customer, and so that's how we did this outreach. And also, another year we were displaying the car at the Art College in Pasadena. There is because Art College in Pasadena has a car history, and that car history is, you know, they have a car shows periodically, and we are going to have a car show at Cal State LA, April 25th. It's going to be a spectacular event by the parking lot there. Anyway, so Jay Leno came by and said, well, now that you pulled out 8-cylinder engine, what do you have? So that was like a conversation, and I had to explain him what the batteries and how that's going to be better and cooler. And so this is another Hollywood moment I have here. All right, and so that was 2011, 2018. Then we took a break, and then we got back into this competition 2023, 2026, and now it's called Battery Workforce Challenge. And I asked our wonderful students to set up a display. So by all means, please, when we're done with the lecture, spend a little bit of time, and Larissa is going to be speaking on behalf of the team. She's a wonderful communications manager. And of course, we have our dean, Nancy Warder-Perez, supporting us. And actually, we just submitted the application, because you see 2026, we are ending this year, and we submitted application for next competition for 4 more years of pain, all right? But this time, I'm not the lead faculty. As I mentioned, Dr. Shaverdi is the lead faculty. So And we have a few more young faculty participating in this competition. So this is now a much better experience in the sense of the expertise required and what we are doing with the students. That is a wonderful work. And also I would like to acknowledge support from Air Quality Management District. This year they supported us with a grant of $150,000. We almost spent it, so we're almost done. We are on time. And so again, thank you very much for supporting us. And again, we do a lot of outreach events on campus. Okay, so we're done with cars for now. And the next project is that when I started my job here, my lab was full of donated solar modules. And so we built a photovoltaic system on the engineering building. And so you can see Blake again. So he's appearing on this picture when we were upgrading the system with the new modules. We upgraded one array. And then, I don't know, remember, Blake, you were still student back then? This is when you were student. So, and again, this job is very taxing, right? So I used to have a lot of hair, Blake. And now we look like that. So anyway, and big, huge thanks to Sheila Blazes. So she led a lot of work in electrical development because it's not just putting modules, but also integrating that into the building. So this photovoltaic system works from 2011. And we don't really need a lot of maintenance or service. It just kind of works. And so you can just see, but of course you can come and see it in person. And, oops, sorry, stop the video. I want to, okay. So let's progress somewhere here. All right. It's coming, maybe? So I just missed one of the modules is busted with the baseball because we're close to the baseball. We replaced it 3 times, so, and then let's stop it. But it still works. It still works. All right. And then campus in 2020, we started our 1 megawatt solar system on campus. And there was a discussion to build only 1/10 of that, 100 kilowatt. And I said, no, we got to build big because building 100 kilowatt means nothing. So I'm so glad that our planning construction people were bold enough and decided on 1 megawatt system. So it cost us $2 million to the campus. And LADWP, Los Angeles Department of Water Power, chipped in $0.9 million. So per year, we are producing 1.6 gigawatt hours of power, and it's approximately $400,000. We would have been even this year, but last year I was going through data and discovered that it stopped working. And again, our wonderful facilities people worked with the LADWP to restore it, and so now it's back and running. And so hopefully by the end of this year, we will be even at $2 million, and then continue generating profit for the university. So let's build more solar on campus. Really, it's a 1 megawatt. On the base, like at night, we are about 3 megawatts. So, and then during the day, we go to 7 megawatt power consumption. So it's kind of there is room to grow. There is room to grow. All right. The other project I was involved is, and I don't know if Carmen today is here, maybe not. Carmen Gachupin is a very important person in this whole process. She's the director of parking and transportation. 2010, I've heard that the company ChargePoint got big Department of Energy grant to install chargers on wherever. And then I called them up and I said, we could install a couple of chargers at Cal State LA. And they agreed. The value was a little bit over $10,000, maybe $11,000 for 2 chargers. And then parking transportation chipped $3,000 for the installation. And so we got them for free, but the installation we paid for. And so these are 2 first chargers on our campus in 2011. that new type of chargers, right? So so we saw the first electric vehicles ever introduced, and they were charging at Cal State LA. And then we worked with Carmen throughout these years, and now she's really independent in this process of getting government grants and building this infrastructure. I also introduced Green Commuter Company. Our student was working there on a project as an internship. And then later they switched from autonomous vehicles to shared drive vehicles to the infrastructure. And so now this company is building, helping us to continue establishing our vehicle charging infrastructure. And we have the largest among all of the CSU campuses. Our network of charging stations is the largest, so congratulations. All right, so I'm going to switch to hydrogen a little bit. The rest of the discussion is going to be hydrogen. And in 2018, we were running a competition. It used to be a competition called Hydrogen Student Design Contest. And every so often I would enroll us. And in that year, in 2018, it's the last time it was running, they asked us to work on the theme Power to Gas. And our students came up with the idea, we are going to generate hydrogen through renewable energy, and have a storage. So this is a graphics developed by Cal State LA students. And then we have hydrogen stations and the distribution of hydrogen to trucks and vehicles. And then the ideas were then, besides trucks and vehicles, we can also think about expanding that universe to UPS vehicles, locomotives, forklifts are big in hydrogen, aviation industry. And the tugboat was an interesting idea because I told them about switch locomotives running on hydrogen, because you can have a hydrogen station and then the locomotive can just fuel at that hydrogen station, and it's a switch locomotive, so it just works at the switch yard. So it's kind of like a built into itself system. And one student said, well, the same idea works for tugboats at the port. And so it's true. And now we have tugboats introduced. And in 2019, I even went to Port of Antwerp to talk about their hydrogen tugboat they were developing. And if you look at how it works, production of hydrogen, utilization of hydrogen, and then we can use it in industry, we can use it in residential, commercial buildings, in emergency situations. So that actually a precursor idea of a hydrogen hubs. And so in 2024, Department of Energy awarded 7 hydrogen hubs, $7 billion, approximately $1 billion per hydrogen hub. We had one in California, one in Pacific Northwest, and you can see the rest. Unfortunately, the new administration and Department of Energy rescinded the award from California and Pacific Northwest hydrogen hubs, claiming renewable energy is not a good way for hydrogen. Apparently, a good way for hydrogen is from natural gas, coal, and oil. So this is just like in the movie in 1988, that things are like a cycling. So always you have to work on through these ups and downs of life. All right. And so now we are at the hydrogen station. And I'm going to introduce you to this little short video of the hydrogen station that was built in 2011, grand opening 2014. Altogether, it cost around $4 million to build. And 1 year, I had a very super talented student from a high school interning at the hydrogen station, and I asked her to put this documentary together for us.
Hello.
Introduction.
Cal State LA Hydrogen Station. Opened in 2014, this station is the first station in the world to provide hydrogen to retail customers. A brainchild of Dr. James Attaro, this station was built to educate and encourage new strategies for alternative power sources. Thanks to the donors at California Air Resources Board and other donors, the hydrogen station is at an advantageous location close to downtown Los
All right.
For reference, the press
So of course it's online, and you're welcome to watch it in full.
share the card
Yep.
card.
Okay. Let's move on. I want to hold on. Okay, somewhere here. Okay, it worked. All right, so this is a grand opening. We finished construction in 2011, but in 2014 we finally kind of got everything, all the kinks out, and so we started operating in full force. And you can see our president right there, Dr. Cavino. Then our friend Keith Malone, so he's a very influential person being filmed and introducing hydrogen technology. So you can see it was well attended, just like today. And again, our friend Mike Cacciori from Air Quality Management District, and that's the first time I met him, and he was very supportive of our EcoCar projects, and it was his idea to run it as a police car. And we were very unique in that, nobody else came up with that idea. So really like that. And a little bit history of the hydrogen station construction, and here is a picture with Dr. Seaman and Michael Dre. Michael Dre is our hydrogen station operations manager. He retired in 2022, and the station did not want to work without him afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, just survived 2 more months and then said, no, it's it. Yeah, it is a little bit old, and we have to upgrade it. Yeah, we'll talk about it. And on the bottom, I really liked that picture from one of the graduation ceremonies, and Dr. Seaman is in his playful mood. He was very important. Well, obviously, he hired me as a department chair, but at the same time, he carried the spirit of Dr. James Ataro, and there were other people who did that, but he was my kind of main contact on this. James Ataro was a faculty before me, and he had the vision to build hydrogen stations, so I was hired specifically to be the front man of the project. An engineer who likes hydrogen. And so that's a construction we started in 2010. You can see it was just a plot of dirt, and then construction proceeded, and afterwards we had a beautiful station. And again, you can see Blake right there working on the station. So he worked everywhere on all of the projects. So the significance of the station, it's a very influential station. It's not just a station somewhere on the corner. It actually moved things around in the science and student training and research. So because my PhD research was heavily into applied experimental work, I carried that to the station, and we fully instrumented. We actually got a grant from Department of Energy to instrument it even more. So we collected tremendous amount of data, and we were able to figure out what works correctly, what needed attention. And that talented high school student created that graphics of a failure map. I call it failure map because it's interesting to see what fails first at the hydrogen station versus just teething problems. And so this is kind of like you can see that electrolyzer had some issues by year 3. Some things were just happening in year 1. And so this is a very interesting little study that she helped us to visualize. And also we were able to bring in researchers, PhD researchers from University of Calabria. Matteo, Francesco, and Michele came last year, and so we published a significant amount of publications. This one is a very interesting project and things happening all together. So the problem was that hydrogen is a very unique gas, the smallest molecule, so it's very hard to measure as it flows into the vehicle, how much we dispense. And so the sales in California or around the world are allowed by contract. So you say vehicle comes and we just charge 3 kilograms, whatever the vehicle tank size would be. And the people wanted to sell hydrogen by kilograms, so it's exactly like you buy by gallons, you buy hydrogen by kilogram. And so we were aware of this problem that it would be coming up when we build our hydrogen station, and our industry partner, SoCalGas, gave us a grant so that our students were able to build this device. In 2010, we built this device, we bought a tank, and we instrumented that scale to read offset 0 with a really heavy tank on that. And so when you lower the tank on the scale, you can put a gram, 2 grams, and it was reading very precisely. So that's the precision we really required. And the other idea was very important. I told students to have a straps to lower and bring the tank up from the scale, because when you transport that thing, you cannot have a load on that load cell on the scale, because we'll break the scale. And so they came up with the car jacks. You can see right there underneath the car jack. So their idea was better than mine. And actually, I live for those moments when the students' ideas are better than what I tell them to do. You know, like, well, do this, it will work. And they come up with a better idea, and they're like, oh, this is so good. So it happened a few times. Anyway, so National Renewable Energy Laboratory, a few years later, maybe 2012, they came by, and we showcased them the station, we showcased them this project, they took pictures, right? And a few years later, they came up with a truck, and that truck had this fancy scale with 2 tanks that were lowered and brought up on the scale, just like our students designed. And now they even use the same scale. It's a Sartorius brand. You know, there are a few brands that are very precise, so they didn't have to go, but they went with the same brand. And so they never gave us a credit, but I think the Cal State LA students were very influential how National Renewable Energy Laboratory engineers designed their device. And that device did exactly the same thing. You hook it up to a hydrogen station, and you can measure how precise the dispenser measures amount of hydrogen being dispensed. And so you do some tune-ups, and then we got our first sticker. So that yellow circle right there at the nozzle is the certification that we can sell by kilogram. And we were the first in the world to have a certified by kilogram sales at Cal State LA. Before we got the sticker, we already started fueling cars by kilogram because we were already approved. So the first sales were to Volkswagen. Volkswagen had an Audi. Volkswagen and Audi had their fuel cell cars at the car show. And then when they were driving the journalists, they needed hydrogen, and so they would come and fuel with us. And the first sale was to them. And you know what happened to Volkswagen? The Dieselgate, right? So that's, they already had clean cars. They already had clean cars. Anyway, so that's the story here, being first in the world. And there were other devices. And so we were usually the first place where new technology would come to California before it goes to other stations. The practice of things were done here, and Blake fixed their equipment. as we did the testing, oh, that doesn't work, and this needs that adjustment, or how we solve that problem. And so the Blake was, and the other thing is that we do really well at the hydrogen station, we do really well outreach. We bring some professional tours, you can see on the top. We bring kids, and I have thousands of pictures with kids in front of the hydrogen station, but I picked this one because these kids came in white lab coats, and the memory is amazing. And our talented PR staff member at the college, Hasmik Simon, she took those pictures, and those are actually very precious. So, and of course, Hollywood moments. We have Jamie Cromwell came. He is interested in renewable energy and sustainability. And so he's first human to achieve warp drive in the Star Trek universe. And I was wondering if the next time you have Admiral Adama from Battleship Galactica, swing him by at the hydrogen station. All right. All right. And then we had a shared mobility program with hydrogen vehicles at the hydrogen station. So Hyundai had a surplus of hydrogen vehicles because they were switching to the next model year, and they had brand new cars. And we started in the fall 2018 with 4 cars, and then later we started. It was getting popular, and it was at the end of the program in 2020. It was 18 vehicles. Unfortunately, did not survive COVID. So it's one of those situations. But we had a really good partnership with Wavecar. They were paying for hydrogen. Yeah. And so Carmen Gachupin, she was very supportive of this project. Again, so it's with parking transportation. We had to have dedicated parking spots. We had to do like certain things with parking transportation. And so
LA's newest sustainability program that was introduced in spring 2019. With this program, faculty, staff, and students 21 years and older will be able to book a zero-emission vehicle for 2 hours at no cost. Any additional time is $5.99 per hour. There will be designated parking spots for them throughout campus to pick up and return after each booking. Now let me take you through the steps in order to sign up and start your trip with Wavecar. First, download the Wavecar app through the App Store and fill out your information to create your account. Once that is complete, you will come to a screen showing you a map of the...
So, speaking of Carmen, I think she would be a wonderful candidate for the Chancellor's Award of a staff member for all the work she did and helped us with. All right, so if you're looking for a candidate, so she's the candidate. All right, and then in 2019, we got an award from California Higher Education Sustainability Conference for all that work, and so Carmen is right there. And then I'm with Michael Dre and Matteo. As I mentioned, Matteo was our first. At first, he came as a master's degree student. He graduated with a master's, and then he came back for another 6 months and worked on a couple of chapters for his PhD thesis. And now he's a professor at the University of Calabria, so in Italy. So we always have a place to visit now in Italy. I have an excuse. All right. And then also Dean Cheryl Ney, she was very supportive of whatever we did at the hydrogen station. And it was her idea to do precise counting of our outreach. And also not only that, but also we took notes so we knew who were professionals and who were the students. So 85% are students. All right. And I mentioned that we would like to upgrade our hydrogen station, and we were almost there. We were almost there. So we were selected for a clean and fuel infrastructure program from Biden administration. There was funding available. We applied. We were selected. And then we worked with our friends at Air Quality Management District to raise matching funds. I'm going to mention it on the next slide. And so we submitted our application, and the new administration came, and they froze all of the awards. I believe it's in litigation. We don't really know. It's hard to get the information nowadays. And so we asked our fearless dean, Walter Perez, to investigate that. So she will have a trip to Washington later this week. And so hopefully you come with good news. Or some news, any news. All right, and so yes, and that's the Air Quality Management District Award, $2.2 million. That's the matching funding we need. And I don't know how long we can hold on to it before it gets canceled. So hopefully there is a patience and understanding with our friends there. So there are 5 pathways through which we train our students. We already mentioned classes. We already mentioned visiting researchers. And I talked about public tours. But I also want to talk a little bit about interns and train the trainer program that we have. I just 15 minutes and we'll be done. All right. So in 2022, we got $500,000 grant to work on hydrogen and overall ZEF workforce development program. And we partnered with SoCalGas and Cerritos Community College, and we have my friends from Cerritos Community College. Thank you for coming. And we've had this 3-year project, very collaborative in organizing things and running things. And the underpinning idea for this work was that in 2014, 2015, we started having students at our hydrogen station as interns. And the way station is located, it's right next to the engineering building. They take their classes, they come back. And there are a few hydrogen interns right here in the audience as well. So thank you for coming, guys. And so this is the previous generation right here. And they kind of learned as their internship went along. And we found out that it's actually time-consuming to train a student every time they come in. And so the idea is to have a curriculum for them. And so we worked on, for a couple of years, we developed 2 courses in the Canvas. So it's our learning management software. And the first course is Introduction. What interns, hydrogen station interns, need to know to be safe and understand how hydrogen station works. So that's our first course. And the second course that we developed is hydrogen station operation and maintenance. And so that is kind of a deep study. Once you're an intern for a while, then you can start learning about different equipment at the hydrogen station and what we need to do to stay safe and operational with this equipment. So that's, and then now I'm kind of aspiring to work on the third course on hydrogen safety. And so the other pillar I mentioned was train the trainer. It's not only universities need to know about hydrogen, but also community colleges. And so I collaborated with Cerritos Community College to develop a 2-day program. We offered it twice already, last year and the year before. They had a really good graphics designer, so it helped us to design these flyers and the certificate. I really like the certificate. And that's the first cohort getting their certificates. And that student, well, no, this is our former student. And so he's instructor at one of the community colleges, and we also have another, our former student at Rio Hondo is instructor. We probably have more, but these are hydrogen affiliated. All right, and then special thanks to our campus for supporting our participation in the Hydrogen Safety Challenge. That was a 12-week kind of a competition. It's a worldwide competition. We started with 30 teams, then only 8 came to the end, and we took the first place. We actually shared first place with another company, and that is because of the help or participation of Mike Morales from Risk Management. So the team is 5, so we had Mike, myself, and 3 students in this competition, and also Claudio Lindo, who is our VP for finances. He's the guy with the signature. So he signed our pledge for hydrogen safety, and that with 2 extra points, we got the first place. So thank you, Claudio. And that's other challenge with administration, new administration. They don't know about your project. So you take every opportunity to pull them in and tell them that's what you do. And so that's what that's what I'm doing here. So I'm pulling you in to learn more about what we do in engineering with the Better Workforce Challenge competition. All right. So this is almost the end. So I'm on the last 4 slides, and I want to share with you. I would like to share with you that I had an interesting invitation to participate in publishing in Forbes. And publishing in Forbes turned out to be interesting experience. I put out, in 5 years, I put only 30 articles. But this allows you to learn about projects around the world and communicate with the CEOs, chief financial officers, chief technical officers they all wanted to talk to you and tell them about the work they're doing. And so I just quickly introduce 4 articles. So one of them is Port of Long Beach. It's called Trigen plant. They generate electricity, they generate hydrogen and water to wash cars. So that's a really interesting facility. If you're interested, you can read the article, or you can even visit them. Fuel Cell Energy is an interesting company, and I teach about them in my fuel cell course. So this is another amazing project by a company called United Therapeutics, and their president, Dr. Martin Rothblatt, she financed it. There is no government money in this project, and it's a hydrogen helicopter. And the idea is that their company focuses on restoring human lungs that are not good for transplantation, but after restoration, they are good for transplantation. And their idea is that clean transport of lungs is important for their patients, not on the gasoline. They tried electric helicopters that didn't work. And so they transitioned, and that's the first flight of this helicopter with the fuel cells and hydrogen. This was a very interesting project. And I promised bigger cars, right? So here's a bigger car, a truck, all right? And so this company built the first hydrogen truck to compete in Dakar rallies in 2022, and it's a company that builds logistics vehicles for warehouses, for the ports, so for containers and stuff. And so the chairman of this company was taken to Dakar one year, and he said, next year I'm going to have a hydrogen truck competing. And so that's what they did. They built this hydrogen truck with 4 Hyundai fuel cells. And during the interviews and our discussions, I suggested that they have to come to one of the largest clean truck shows here in the world. So it's called Advanced Clean Transportation Expo. And it was running in Long Beach. And they told me that in 3 days of the show, they got more business than they would have gotten in 1 year. And then I asked them to visit our campus with the truck, and we got a really nice photo up at the hydrogen station and here with these vehicles. And the last project I really enjoyed writing about is called Not Only Banks in Chocolate, Hyundai Hydrogen from Swiss Alps to Auckland. And so what happened in Switzerland is that there is a really hefty tax on trucks, but you can, annual tax. And so, but you can avoid it if you have an electric or zero-emission truck. And so they tried first with electric trucks, and that didn't work because of the cold, and batteries don't like cold, and that didn't work out because of the mountains. And so they tried this business. Hyundai established a special business with the hydrogen trucks, and that's been very successful. It started with just, as you can see, 7 trucks, and now they have already 47 trucks running, or it's information from last year. And then now we have 30 more Hyundai trucks deployed at the port of Auckland. So that's an interesting kind of a connection and stories about Switzerland. And thank you. Any questions? Yes.
So on your 1 megawatt solar system, congratulations, by the way. On your 1 megawatt solar system that you noticed wasn't working, what was the failure mechanism? And was it a single point failure?
So it's not mine, it's a campus. Everything here is campus. We just mingle a little bit with this. But no, the first, I needed the data. Dr. Shaverdi and I have a dream of transforming our campus. You see, these technologies are transforming campus. And we wanted to have a battery storage for solar, so during the day, save something, and that is very important kind of a research. And so I needed some data from last few years, And I open up, and there is no data. The web page is empty. And I asked the company, why is it empty? And they said, well, your license expired. So I worked with the campus. We got the license to work. And then we look again at this web page. There is no data. And I asked, where is the data? And they said, well, something is not working. Your plant is not working. We are not getting any data. And so we investigated even more. And so all of the inverters were tripped. And so I guess there was some incorrect connection in all the connection boxes, not of the system, but on the connection to the campus microgrid. And so, or campus grid. And so LADWP came, cleared out that fault. So the solar system itself was not in fault. There was nothing wrong with it. It just needed a reset. But it got triggered by some work in the electrical boxes of the parking structure. Might be EV charging stations installation. Something was not kosher there. So that's what happened. And, you know, we lost a little bit of time. And, you know, it's very costly if you're not monitoring your system. Yes?
What do you see as the most exciting next thing in the hydrogen ecosystem?
Can't say that. So, you know, there are a lot of roadblocks nowadays with hydrogen. So once we have the roadblocks removed, there will be a lot of things happening. I have to tell you, it's only in America that we are slowing down. If you look at the rest of the world, the projects are enormous. And even like in the United States, we just had recently in Texas, they opened up 600 megawatt solar plant. And that is a very important to, not to look at the hydrogen just by itself. Hydrogen is a part of the ecosystem of transitioning to renewable energy and a different approach to our energy system, separating us from fossil fuel dependence. So hydrogen is just that part of the recipe. And so if you're asking what is exciting, I'm very excited that around the world things are moving. And it's just US politics that goes up and down, and you just have to survive your downs and hope for the ups next time around. And that's what would be important, and that would be the next exciting thing. But overall, we are experiencing this technology spread. It's not only vehicles, right? So in early 2000s, when we built the hydrogen station, and afterwards, everyone was just talking about cars and clean air in Los Angeles. But now, as we are discovering more things that we can do with hydrogen, it's ammonia production, not from natural gas, but from hydrogen, methanol production, and so spreading that into aviation. I didn't have a slide on aviation, but there is aviation projects and maritime applications, and there was an interesting article I put about Sierra Railroad, and they're using garbage, and so there is that would be interesting in Los Angeles. There are groups that are developing hydrogen production from garbage processing, right? So those will be interesting projects right here. And then the Olympic Games are coming, so we'll see what kind of technology we can demonstrate in a couple of years. So that will be exciting here as well.
Thank you. How many gallons of water is used to produce 3 kilograms of hydrogen, and how many miles that the car can run with 3 kilograms of hydrogen?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. This is I play with these questions when we have tours of hydrogen stations, so I'll give you answers. In order to produce 1 kilogram of hydrogen, it takes 8 kilograms, no, it takes 9 kilograms of water, and then you produce 1 kilogram of hydrogen and 8 kilograms of oxygen. It actually takes a little bit more than 9 because when you do osmosis, a little bit of water goes back into the line, but it has a little bit more salt into it. So, but in reality, it's about 9 kilograms of water, and you produce 1 kilogram of hydrogen. And a passenger car will travel about 80 miles on 1 kilogram of hydrogen. 60 to 80 miles, yeah. And there is a student behind you, Nevin. So he has a wonderful orange painted Mirai, Toyota Mirai, the new model. And so you're hypermiling, and you get even more than 80, right? So, but it depends on your driving. You know, driving is, you can step on the gas pedal and go through any fuel really fast, right? But if you care about your driving, you can get good mileage. And the hydrogen cars allow to have traveling a long distance. And that's one of the, the next good question is, who wins, electric cars or hydrogen cars, right? And so both win. Electric cars are getting better and better, and they will be really good for our daily driving, where hydrogen cars are going to travel long distances and refuel quickly, right? So you don't have to wait, and you don't have to ruin your battery by quickly recharging. You know, fast recharging is very taxing on the batteries. But so it's going to be a mix in the future. And heavy-duty transportation is also will be relying on hydrogen, and that's one of the promises of California Hydrogen Hub. Even though the funding was taken away, the community is so excited here. It's about $12 billion that were committed, and so the projects will go on with $12 billion that was committed. And so I guess Hydrogen Hub in California will persist, and hydrogen technology. A lot of support now went on the states, on the state side, but the excitement is there. You know, it's here actually. All right, thank you very much, and thank you for your questions.
Applause. I want to thank you not only for your presentation here today, but for all that it represents. The many years of mentoring students, being an inspiring professor, leading in industry and how we are advancing science and technology advances, and leading around the conversation around sustainable energy. Thank you for representing Cal State LA and for all of the work that you have done for the larger community. Let's, again, give them another round of applause. It is a very special campus, and it is because of people like you. So thank you all very much for being here today to share in the conversation and for all that you do to support our students in these conversations. And there is food behind us, so we would invite you to stay, mingle, have conversations, think about how to take this to the next level, how we might grow our collaborations, and just enjoy being in one another's company on a nice summer day in February. So thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
And check out the project right there. So Battery Workforce Challenge, our engineering students